What's up, guys, and welcome to the third part in the PHP backend API JSON tutorial. And as you can see, I'm in my PHP my admin, and I've created a new database that I call the color_db. And you can create new databases by just typing the name in here and then type create, and then define tables in the database. So I've defined one table that I call color, and this table just have two columns, and that is ID and a color name. And the ID, the important thing to remember is to click in that it has to auto increment, and that it's the primary key. And the other one is just the varchar with the size of 50, and that doesn't allow any null values. And I've also go ahead and populate them with some data. So you can see it's an auto incrementing ID and then a couple of color names. So that's pretty basic. And back in my code, I've created a new file that I called connector.php that stores my MySQLi connection. And you got 4 parameters. It's the address to the database, and then it's the username, and then it's the password and the name of the database. And you may need to specify the port number here as well if you're using, for example, I think the default value on Windows is that you have to specify the port number here. And but in my case, I don't have to specify any port number, but you have to look that up, and you'll probably find it in your PHP MyAdmin. And then the username and password, that may differ on your computer as well. But it basically just returns a MySQLi connection. You have to fiddle around with it in order to get it to work. And also I've included the 3 rows right up here. And this is just for debugging purposes, so that if PHP runs into some errors or something, it just display the errors to you, so you can see what's going on and on which row and everything. And I've included my connector file, which is this one, and it uses relative paths. So for example, if this was located in a subfolder, I will have to type subfolder. Yeah, sorry about that. Subfolder, and yeah, you get the point. And this is the same as in the previous tutorials. And I've gone ahead and created a new endpoint that I'm calling getAllColors. And it's calling the getConnector function from the connector file. And it stores the as a variable like con. And then I create a statement from the connection with this. If you're not used to PHP, you can think of these symbols as the dot operator, which is pretty much the equivalent in other object-oriented languages. And this is plain SQL statement right here. So select star from color, and color is the table name, as I've defined it right here, the color name. So after that, I execute the statement, and then I bind the result to 2 parameters. And this you have to specify all the parameters that you are getting from the SQL statements. So I'm using star here, so I'm getting all of my columns, which in my case is ID and color name. And the name right here doesn't matter. You can call them whatever you like, but they're going to come in the same order as the SQL statement. So this will be an integer and this will be a string. And after that, I use a while loop to iterate the result with a fetch statement. And this is a function. And then I just echo out ID, and then I use the BR for break row. So in PHP you can't use plus to concatenate strings, and you have to use the dot, because otherwise it'll just use, if you use plus, it'll try to calculate some value, and we don't want that. And I do the same with the color name, which is this, so it's going to iterate all of them, and after that I'm close the statement, and I'm close the connection. So let's save it and go to our web page and refresh it. And as you can see, I've already tried it out. It prints out everything from the database. So now we got a connection to the database up and running. We're going to have a look at how to create a little more useful API. So see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.